Hi everyone! Welcome to the Lodge. Today we are playing the demo for Roller Girl, and we are joined by Indigo, founder of Pushing Vertices, the developers of the game. How are you doing?
Pretty good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm so excited. I am obsessed with this game. Like ever since I saw you guys at it was Pocket Gamer Connects Toronto, and I saw your booth there. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to play this
Mhm.
more. So I am very excited.
Awesome. I love it.
So we're just gonna jump right in. So this is the latest demo, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we just pushed this last week, I think on the 18th or 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
Recently, before GDC.
Yes, exactly.
Cool, cool. And here's the thing with many demos, if you leave it open for a little bit too long, it'll be like, hey, I'm tired now, I don't want to work. So I'm gonna jump out, reload the game, and come back in because I've had it opened all day because I've been playing. Okay, so we're just gonna switch off to the screen and we'll be back in two shakes. And we're back. Cool, cool, cool. Alrighty, if I want to get this old car fixed up, I'm gonna have to earn some money. I like that it tells you that it's your thought and not just this is your objective.
Yes, yeah. The idea is like to really have it be like you are Naomi, like this is you talking to yourself type of thing.
All right, I'm so close, just $28 to go. A few gigs should do it. Better check my MP3 player is juiced up before I head out. I miss my MP3 player so much.
I know, right?
Looks good. I got some new stuff on here. I'm excited to check out the new playlists. Cool. So this is pretty integral to the game. So do you want to give a rundown on the different playlists and kind of what they mean?
Yeah, so the MP3 player is like such a solid part of the game. Like it's very much based off of when I was 16 and I would rollerblade around with my iPod and like I had all these playlists set out for like, oh, I'm really feeling these music today, so I'm gonna listen to this vibe and like the world would kind of like set itself to my setting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the Good Times playlist is kind of that upbeat music that you listen to when you're having a really good day and the world's kind of like brighter around you. The Middle Child is kind of like that middle level playlist where like it's kind of you can kind of zone out to this music and like it's the middle level. And
Yeah.
then Down is kind of when you're like maybe a little bit sad, feeling a bit down, and the world kind of changes to be a little bit slower and a bit duller for that one.
Cool. All right. Let's start with good times because I love listening to Probot the Protocop. I can never say it, but it's my favorite one on the playlist.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I at the moment all of the music is just off of a free website, but we are in the middle of working with local indie bands from Ontario to get their music licensed in the game, which will kind of like bring in that vibe of Ontario.
That's so cool. I like that it's really a passion project for like small town Ontario, you know? Like we're gonna get all these bands together and we're gonna be like also this is my favorite part of the entire game. Kent Smith, if I can't sell your house, no one can. I used to work
Yes. Oh
for
my gosh.
a real estate agency and they had signs like that. Like I grew up in basically this game. So it's so
Amazing.
fun to like roll around and see it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that sign. When I made it, I was so happy. I like sent it to all my friends and my family. I was like, look at this sign. Like,
If
oh
you
my
make
gosh.
merch, I would absolutely buy like a little sticker of the sign.
Oh my gosh, we should 3D print like a little sign and have it like
Oh my
swing a
gosh.
little bit.
It can be
That's gonna be amazing.
like a paperweight, or oh, it would do numbers as like an enamel pin.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I have to.
Hi,
It's
Carol.
actually like it's like inspired by like a real life realtor in the city I grew up in, but I just like I flipped the slogan a little bit so it's not
Not copyright.
copywritten, hopefully.
Ah, where's your helmet, young lady? I'm sorry. I can't wear one. My hair is too big. Well, then get a bigger helmet. Your hair isn't going to stop a concussion. Oh, but if it could? I can't believe your parents just let you go around town with no helmet and no supervision. If I had kids, you wouldn't catch them bumming around town. No, sir. It was so nice to talk to you, Carol. Thank you so much. Ah! I'm trapped in the Carol void. Hey there, girlie. Hi, Gary. Oh, working hard or hardly working. If I had $1 for every time someone in my hometown said that as I was walking by, I wouldn't need a job. So what are we? Are we working hard or are we hardly working?
Let's go with working hard. Why not?
We're always working hard. I'm trying to get this
Mhm.
old car fixed up. Got any leads on how a kid can make a quick buck in this town? Sure. Step 1, get yourself a gig working construction. Step 2, lose a couple of fingers on the work site. Step 3, profit. Step 4, no fingers left for step 4. Ha! Great advice. I'll give it some serious thought. Thank you, Carrie.
Gary's really giving that like small town vibe for sure.
Oh, yeah. Gary was in all of my home economics classes. Okay, so
Amazing.
these like transistor things, these like gray boxes, I don't know if it was just me or just a small town thing, but that's where you would go to meet up. Like you would just go and hang out by like the transistor box.
Amazing. I don't know if I had that particular experience, but I'm happy that it's representing for you. How do you know which box to meet up at?
So there was a couple of big ones, and they would typically be like either tagged with like graffiti, or they would be like the city tried to do like a rejuvenation project. So some of the local artists got to like do murals on them.
Okay,
It was really,
cool.
really cool. So I was like, oh, we want to go to the pink horse transistor. And it was like a bunch of like pink stallions in like a blue desert. So it
Okay.
made it easy to know which one to go to, but also
Yeah,
incredibly silly over the phone.
amazing. I kind of want to put that in now. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be in the game.
Yes, it would be like actually really good for like landmarks as well, right? You'd be like, I just
Yeah.
passed the pink stallions, so I must be on the way.
Which I feel is very small town. I feel like no one knows the names of a street. It's just, oh yeah, it's next to this bank.
Yes, it's so true. Or I remember there's like a house that always had like just their lawn covered in like really random lawn ornaments, and like
Oh
that's
yeah.
always the house, right?
The one with 28 flamingos is like the classic.
Exactly.
Hey, dude. Hey, what's up, man? No, he's miserable. I can't go to a party. My mom says I have to stick to my commitments. Doesn't she know I don't care? So tell me about it, or what do you want this time?
Let's go and tell me about it. Let's listen. Let's be kind.
Yeah. I want to go to my friend Brian's birthday party. It's at Play City. Oh my god, I loved Play City when I was 12. What's Play City?
Let's go with Let's Play City.
It's amazing. They have giant trampolines and foam pits, giant boxing gloves I always destroy people with. Basically, the best place ever. I can't believe you don't know it. Some childhood you had. Well, excuse me, or wow, that does sound awesome.
Well, excuse me.
Well, excuse me. I'll never get my paper route done before the party starts, and my bike is broken. You left it out in the rain again, or can't you do it later?
Which one do you want to do?
I kind of want to ask him if he left his bike in the rain. That just seems very like you are 12 and that's what you do with your bike. That's not the point. Will you do my paper route for me? I can pay you. Just don't tell my mom. We could use the money. I know the answer to this one.
Yes, always get the money.
Always get the money. Awesome. The papers are outside my house, a few doors down. There's a list of houses with them. Just make sure they're done by 5 p.m. Just chuck the paper at the house. It's not that hard. I think you'd be nicer. Okay, fine.
Okay, fine.
Okay, fine. Get going. Okay, gotta pick up the newspapers first. He's off to Play City.
Exactly. He just ran away.
And honestly, yeah, that's so 12-year-old kid.
Right, just immediately gone, and you feel swindled a little bit.
Just a bit. And then you feel a little bit ridiculous because it's like, you're 12.
For sure. I'll let you look for the papers. I'm always tempted to like direct people, so I'm trying to just be
Right?
hands off.
Here's Zane's papers. Let's go. Delivery time. Okay, Zane's customer list. There are 20 houses, mostly on Charles Street. Easy. Cool. I'm gonna assume that this is a house. Okay. And paper delivery. Increase power, decrease power. Cool, cool, cool. Ooh.
So I can direct you a little bit here if that's helpful.
That would be great.
It's actually the next door to the right. Oh, sorry, on that same house.
Ah. Oh,
There we go.
nice.
Yeah, that one.
Oops. Woo. So I'm on Victoria right now, and I want to go to Charles. Oh, this is just a newspaper, not the newspaper. Swan versus man in a race of the century. Wait, what? It's really hard to tell the difference between satire and news these days. So true.
I was really like excited to make fake newspaper headlines.
Yeah.
Even though you can't see it, it is written on there. I like spent way too long on that, but I was really happy with it.
No, I love fun little just like word jokes in games. Just like I love reading something silly. And that actually
Yeah.
happened in my hometown, man versus swan. It wasn't a swan. We're on the water, so we have a lot of geese. And in the springtime, they have all of their chicks out. And so the moms want to protect the babies. But there's a lot of houses by the water as well. So it's like, oh, oh no. So there's been some incidents, let's say.
What? That's amazing. I totally just made that up, but I love that it's accurate.
Yeah, there was
Amazing.
also a seagull that nested on the roof of our local library, and it was so mean, and we weren't allowed to go to the library for like 2 weeks.
That's amazing. Where is this town?
Northern Ontario.
Okay.
Oops, I missed. Oh, cool! You have to throw it up.
Yeah, you might have to increase your power for this one.
Oh, oops.
There we go.
Ah,
Did you ever do papers when you
uh,
were younger?
I didn't. I did it once actually. I took over my friend's paper route because they wanted to go to a party actually.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
So that was really fun. But yeah, so it was me and my dad who did it actually. So we just like loaded up a wagon and went walking around the neighborhood. It was really fun.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I had technically six paper routes, but they were all across like one street.
Oh,
Or I think two. Like they were basically just delivering the entire street. But they are technically six. But I had that for like I think like 5 years or something. So I would just rollerblade around delivering the papers, and like everybody knew who I was.
oh, that's so
Um,
nice.
yeah, so that's kind of what this is based off of. And then a lot of times, like if you had to go somewhere and you couldn't deliver your papers, you had to call like a neighboring paper deliverer and be like, "Hey, can you cover for me?" Um,
Oh, cool.
yeah, so that's basically where this entire quest came from.
I love that. It feels like that should be done with like a walkie-talkie though. I just feel like everyone should have like a cup phone to like the paper trail.
Amazing. That would be such an entertaining premise.
I'm really good at missing. This is why I didn't have a paper route. I did it once and they're like, oh, cool. Thank you so much. Don't come back.
Amazing. Did you actually have to throw them for yours?
No, I ended up walking up uh, because the first one I threw it and I was like, yeah, it's just like the movies. And my dad was like, don't do that. You keep missing. That's in a bush, Natalie. You can't just do that to someone's like paper. So, so I
Amazing.
walked up the streets and up to the houses.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the I always thought that like you would throw it as well, and then sadly disappointed when you didn't get to do that.
Right? I was promised
Yeah,
so much from the movies from my childhood about paper routes, and none of it came true.
exactly. It's so rude. Like
But
such
now it
lies.
is.
Exactly. There you go. Yes. Okay. I'm glad that you found that one. I was afraid that one would be too hard for people to find.
Oh, it's nice to have the circle telling you where to throw it, as opposed to just like, oh, it's somewhere at this house.
Yeah. Yeah. I really wanted it to be like a kind of obvious like target you gotta
Mhm.
bullseye it into.
And I don't know, maybe it is just growing up in a small town, but you never use the front door. It's always like the side door, like near the garage, you know?
Yes, it's so accurate. The amount of times like people's front door was like they never used it and they
Yeah.
had like a garden going in the
Oh,
front.
absolutely. It was just for
Yeah,
decoration.
exactly. You have to like go around back, hop a fence, swim through a pool,
Oh, yeah.
and then like enter through a cave.
So how does the day-night cycle work in this game? Because I
Um,
am now noticing that it is dark outside.
yeah, so I think right now it's probably like 1 a.m. or something, but yeah, so right now it's just on a timer. I think it's like every second or so of real time is like a minute in game. I
Oh,
think
cool.
something like that. But yeah, so basically the daytime is I think twice as long as the night cycle, and the purpose of the night time was to have it so that you can listen to like specific music at night.
Oh, cool.
Because yeah, so like when I would go out rollerblading, I would go out at like 8 p.m. and it would be dark, and I would have like this like sort of vibe in my head of like, oh, I'm cool, I'm out at night,
Right.
like
You're such an edgy
yeah,
teenager.
exactly. So I'd have like specific playlists for that time. uh, which actually, if you pick up this CD booklet, it should give you more music in the nighttime playlist to listen to.
Oh, cool. Oh, swanky. Ooh, cool. So this is part of the game's music setting, yeah?
Yeah, so we're still sort of tweaking the final look of it, but it's basically supposed to sort of like liven it up and make things a bit more like bright and all of the windows that are lit kind of have like that fuzzy bloom effect on them and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's like three other items around town that you can find at night that give you more songs
Cool, cool, cool.
as well.
I like
And
that
then
you
like I
find songs. I think that's so fun.
Awesome. Okay, good. I'm glad that it makes sense because in my head I'm like that makes total sense.
Yeah. If
Um,
I found a CD
yeah,
on the ground, it's like, yeah, that's my songs now.
exactly. It's actually based off of like I did actually find a book of CDs one time, and then I can like continue to just like go home and listen to them and like burn them into my iTunes folder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Back when we had to burn everything onto a folder to listen to it.
exactly. And then put it onto my iPod. It's a whole ordeal, you know?
Did you ever like get your own photos and match it to like the album cover?
Yes, I think I probably had like a lot of anime characters as well that I would like be like,
Oh
this is
yeah.
their song.
Yeah, this is absolutely them. Or like I
Exactly.
was big into illustration and like comics and things like that. So I was like, oh, this is perfect for my original character, new OC, do not steal. I can't wait.
Amazing. Yeah, it's very much that. Like, there's a lot of songs from probably like 2008 or something that I still associate with those pictures. I'm like, that is the album cover.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can't tell me anything else.
It doesn't matter what the official like album says.
Exactly. They got it wrong
I'm right.
for sure. I was gonna just say there are like a couple of items placed around the world that you can like run into, and if you do, then like a little sort of like thought appears as well. They're kind of scarce at the moment, but there's certain things like I think one of the cars, like if you run into it, there's like a thought that appears with that car. Um,
Cool.
and I think some houses and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, when I first jumped into the game this time around, my first instinct was I'm gonna slide across the hood of this car. It did not work. I didn't expect that to be a function, but just to see. Because I feel like that's also very like small town. There's like a cool car that's like parked outside your neighborhood for the first time. It's like, oh, whoosh.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, we should put that in as like an emote or something.
Let's switch
That would be
to
pretty
middle
good.
child.
There we go. What was I gonna say? Oh, there's also a map that you can unlock. I, I can tell you where if you'd like, or you can try and find it.
Oh, caution, do not step on the grass.
I was so excited about that sign too. Like,
Yeah? It's
like
a
it
good one.
looks
It's kind of a classic.
exactly. I was like, I don't know if anyone's gonna see this, but I know it's there.
It's important to me.
Exactly. That's pretty much the entire game. I'm like, this looks exactly like it. And it matters to me, so we're done. Like,
Well, yeah, it's based on your hometown, right?
yeah, very much. There's like, I would say like 80% of it is like specific houses or buildings or areas from where I grew up.
That's so fun. It's nice to have just like an element of you in the things that you create.
Hmm.
So it's fun. It's also, I feel like it's really special to kind of just like share like just like a good chunk of your childhood with like an audience like this.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely like a lot of little things that are like, this totally happened to me. And like, no one will know that it's real, but like, I'll know. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Like Swan versus Man.
exactly. I think you can find the map in the park as a hint.
Ooh. Right, time to snoop.
The park is actually based off of like a real rose garden in Belleville, where
Yeah?
I grew up. And like the fountain is also a rose, which is they actually did that in real life too. There's actually like a real fountain like that.
Cute. Ooh, a map of the neighborhood. This will come in handy. Yes, it will. Cool. Ha 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 ha. Nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of supposed to look like a pamphlet that you maybe like had in your pocket and like scribbled notes onto.
Oh yeah. Never eat shredded wheat. I still do that to find out where I'm going.
Yes, amazing. I watched a video about like who like which version. I guess there's like multiple versions of this depending on where you grew up.
Hmm.
And I can't remember what they were, but like there were a lot of them were like about not eating something. They're like don't eat
Yeah.
soggy worms or
Yeah, or
something.
like sour
Yeah.
watermelon.
Yeah. And I was like, why is it always about eating food? That's weird.
It's always
Like,
eating.
yeah. And yeah, I was really excited to put that like water tower in there as well. There's like a lot of little things and I'm just like, oh my gosh, look at this. And
And I was like,
no one
wow,
cares,
cool.
but like,
I guess.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, but I love that. My town has a whole hotel system based around our water tower.
What?
Yep. It's called the Water
How?
Tower Inn, and it's next to the water tower. That's the big draw.
That's amazing. There's actually the Rose Garden that I was talking about has an inn called the Inn by the Rose Garden. So it's kind of same
The
in
Inn
that
by
way.
the Rose Garden. I love
Yeah,
that it's a name and also directions.
exactly. It's like literally right in front of the Rose Garden, like right behind the property is the Rose Garden. So it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Towns love naming things about landmarks. Ah, the house. Hee hee hee.
Oh, good. That one's a little hidden as well.
Woo.
I got a little carried away placing these. I was like, where can I hide them?
Where can I be so sneaky about this?
All right. Yeah. My favorite one is actually the apartment building.
I really liked that.
Okay, good.
Hi, Zane. You got them all. Sweet. Thanks, dude. um, aren't you forgetting something? You can invoice me? Nice try. Hand it over. Ugh, fine, here. Zane hands you a few slightly damp bills and a mishmash of coins. Thank you, Zane. Nice doing business with you. Woo! Cash money.
Amazing. Throwback to when bills could get damp, you know,
Bills
old
could get
school
damp.
bills.
I forgot
Yeah.
about the paper bills.
Exactly. I feel like that was such a like weird part of going to GDC last week is like changing money
Oh
and being
yeah,
like,
it's in the
what?
States.
Yes, it's so weird. I was like trying to get used to which bill is which because they're not colored.
They're all the
Um,
same. You just have to read them.
I know. It's like, oh, I have to put in effort. I can't just glance casually. What is this?
Right? And I believe in
Yeah.
majority of the states right now, they also don't have like tap with like your card. Like they don't have like the chip sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you can't tap. You have to like insert or swipe, which is so otherworldly to me almost.
Yeah, it's so weird. I did find it kind of worked. It was working most places for me, actually, the Apple Pay. I was really surprised.
Cool.
But yeah.
Hi, Linda. Your garden is looking beautiful. My mom's always really jealous. Thanks. I'm really proud of this year. It's coming up great. You let your mom know I've got cuttings for her if she wants them. Oh, that's so nice. I thought Mixed come out and say hi, but he must have wandered off again. He's always sneaking off to the neighbors. I get so nervous someone is going to scoop him up one of these days and I'll never see him again. Oh no, I'll keep an eye out for him. I'll keep my peepers peeled. So how
Yes,
was GDC?
Oh, it was really good. It was great to kind of like take a week off, kind of, not really,
Right.
but
Yeah. You missed the
but yeah, it
show.
was exactly. So yeah, it was really great. It was my first time going, and it was really tiring, but really rewarding at the same time. And I also got to meet some people from Toronto that I've never met in person, which everyone always jokes is like you have to leave the country to meet people
You
from
really
your own
do.
city.
It's just to meet your own neighbors.
Exactly, yeah. So that was cool to like meet some people that I've only ever like seen through Discord, as well as some people from other countries as well, which was really cool.
Yeah. It's always interesting. It's like, oh, you have an actual face. You're not just like an anime profile picture. That's nuts.
Exactly. I was saying to people that we should print out stickers of our
Of our
icons,
icons.
like stick them on our badges or
Here's the
something.
thing, that would be so helpful.
Right?
Because
Especially
yeah.
since like yeah, sometimes it's not always your face. Like mine is like a little cartoon picture of me.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't want to change it, so
No,
I think I
that's
might actually
me.
print out stickers. Yeah, exactly.
I think that'd be
If
really cute.
yeah, it's kind of like a throwback to like Lizzie McGuire when she would like go into cartoon version of herself,
Yeah.
right?
I feel
That's
like my
fun.
brain works like the Lizzie McGuire cutaways. It's just like, yeah, there's a little cartoon me, and she's dealing with the problems.
Exactly. We all have that Lizzie McGuire moment for sure.
I do. Ooh. I do like that you do actually. Oh, could I also have gotten the map here?
Yeah, so there's a couple of locations for the map. It's kind of like in my head, it's like the city's initiative to like help tourists find the way around. So they like pasted maps everywhere.
Nice. Looks like someone lost their phone. It says a little bit of charge left. Wonder what they got on here. Another song?
And perhaps.
Oh, gosh, oh my gosh. Yes! So exciting. This really conveys the feeling of like being in a small town at nighttime. I'm not quite sure how to describe it, but everything kind of has not like physically a little bit of a glow to it, but just like a warm summer night, like out with your friends or like out on just like a crisp, cool walk. Like it just feels very homey, I guess.
Hmm.
So I really
Good. I'm
like
good. I'm glad.
it.
Yeah, and I like really like this sort of like waterfront trail. I feel like that's such a like small town thing to like just have a trail behind all these houses.
It is. It really is. Once you leave the water tower in, you can go down to the waterfront and then take the water path.
Exactly. It's all about water.
It really is. Hello, Sharon. Hello, dear. Would you care for a martini? I'm 16, or for real?
I always go with I'm 16.
16. And I'm joking, darling. That Joanne is out on her porch again. Joanne. She wants everyone to think she's sipping tea, but I wouldn't put it past her to put a little sip of whiskey in there. You're literally out on your lawn drinking a martini. What's going on with all these guys? I better go.
Let's go with what's going on with these guys. I always pick the martini option, so
Right? It's easy to have a favorite when you're developing something. What's going on with these guys? Oh, the power line is down. It's blocking up a whole street. Now there's a pile of people trying to get to their fancy little mansions at the top of the hill. It's hilarious. And she's out here watching. That is also so small town. Of just like, oh, did you hear? Like one of the breakers blew downtown, and like all of a sudden, like everybody's heading over there instead of like
yes,
avoiding the problem.
exactly. It's amazing. Uh, I also kind of wanted to like add a little bit of drama about like the people that live on top of the hill think they're like better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And everyone down below is like, how dare you? But like the people up top are like, whatever.
You just live on the hill.
Exactly.
I feel like that divide is always really easy to make in a small town as well. Like, it's just easy to be like, oh, like for me it was our high school. There was the west side of town and the east side of town, and so there would be like the big football games, like, oh, east versus west, who's better? It's like, I don't understand how football works, so I was like, oh, my school, I guess. But very small town to like rally behind just like your side of town or your neighborhood.
Yeah, for sure. That's so funny. I think we were kind of thinking of like Parks and Rec, how there's like the drama between the two towns in that one.
Oh, true.
I think if you run into this beige car, it says something.
Ow. Last time I was this close to Mabel's car, she called the cops. Oh no. Evening, ma'am. You better not be coming up on my lawn with those damn skates. I don't want you ripping up my nice lawn with those little wheelies. Okay? I won't. Jeez, calm down, lady. Yup. That's
Yeah.
my neighbor.
Yeah, it's both of those things totally happened like in some way. Like, I remember my mom parked her car in my neighbor's driveway just for like one night because there was like snow in the way of her parking spot or something.
Yeah.
And then my neighbor like called the cops, even though she knows it's my mom's car, and was like,
We lived
"Someone
next to each
parked
other
here."
for years.
Yeah, and it was like such drama.
Oh my gosh. So we just picked up a little mini disco ball for our car.
Yes, and I think there's another song as well. It kind of gave me a little bit of a disco vibe, which is why it's linked to the disco ball.
Cool. Absolutely, you're right. That is very disco vibe.
Right. And then going back to the Mabel, there was like a couple of people that were like refused to let me go on their porch because I had rollerblades on, and they were like, either you're gonna fall and you're gonna injure yourself and sue me, or you're gonna like scratch up the finish on the wood. I was like, these are rubber wheels, like I'm not gonna scratch anything. Like,
How fast do you think I'm going?
right? Yeah. So I was always like, okay, like whatever.
There was a lot of there were certain driveways that you couldn't like step on because they would reseal it like every couple months. It was the pride and joy of their house, I guess. It's like, hey, you can't come up here. You gotta go around the back. You gotta hop the fence and swim through the pool and like dodge the swing sets to get to the real door.
Exactly. Amazing. Oh my gosh.
I like nearby convenience also.
Yes, I was really tempted to name it after the original store that it's after.
Oh.
But I liked that one as well.
I think nearby convenience is very fun. I feel like a lot of convenience stores, at least in my town, were just like this person's convenience store.
Yes, that's fair. I think the one that it's named after is named after the street. It's just like this street convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another classic, truly.
Exactly. It's very easy to find, good directions.
I like this little pool situation as well.
I love this. Eventually I wanted to have the beach balls like have gravity so that you can just like pick them.
That'd be so fun.
It's one of those like extra things that is like when we get around to it.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
Because I would absolutely try and see if I could get my little beach ball like to every main landmark in town.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. That would be so funny. We should have like a contest on social media, like take a picture of every where you put this ball.
Baseball in.
Yeah, exactly. That would be pretty good. Coming up with so many features today, I have to put you on the like testing list.
Yeah, get me on the list. I'll do it. I'll test.
Exactly.
Pushing Park. Is there a meaning behind the name of the park in the game, or just
Yeah, so it's based off of it's kind of a mashup because it is based off of the Rose Garden,
Mm.
but it's also based off of this park that I used to go to like 3 blocks from my house. And we used to call it the East Hill Park, but I think it's actually got a different name. Um, and then I was realizing when I was researching this that like the Rose Garden is actually called, I think, uh, Corby Park or something like that, off
Oh.
after like one of the founders of the city. And I was like, well, I don't want to get sued again, so I changed it slightly to mean that. And then I think when I was googling it, like Corbin or something similar to that, it actually means like crow. And I was really tempted to make the park like haunted by crows.
Ooh.
Um, but I decided to leave it for now because that's a lot of work for that.
But still a fun concept for a little Halloween
Yeah,
bonus.
right? Yeah, some DLC later. We'll just add that
Yeah.
in. Why not? Exactly. Yeah. I think there's a couple of cats as well. They, full disclosure, you cannot pet them yet, but they are in
Yet.
the game.
I do like the addition of yet.
Yes, eventually you'll be able to pet
Let's switch to down down. We haven't listened to that yet. It's very like a dreamy change to our surroundings.
them. Yeah, I kind of wanted it to be like a subtle fade into almost.
Yeah, it's nice. It kind of feels like if the nighttime playlist was like a crisp summer evening, this is uh, like almost early morning in the springtime, where like there's still a little bit of like a winter chill.
Yes, I like
Sorry, I'm
this.
relating everything to the seasons. Um,
No, I think it makes sense. I like it. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, if you go straight down this street, and you talk to Debbie, she has something for you as well.
ooh, will do. I like that you can see the houses on the hill, just like looming over the town.
They're watching you.
Ah! Is this also part of the Halloween update?
Oh, yes, the houses on the hills have eyes.
Ah. Oh, hello, my dear. It's so nice to see you. Hi, Debbie. What are you up to? Oh, just gearing up for the day. So many things to do. No time to do them. The house is so quiet since Eddie headed off to college. Oh, real. You have plans for college yet, dear? You know where you're going? This is so real. Just like the moment you hit high school, people start asking you. It's like, I don't remember your name. I don't have my future plan. I'm sorry. I'm only
Amazing.
16. Oh, yes, a few years left. Not to worry about all that then. How's your summer going? Ooh, all right. Dealer's choice. Chat about car, what's the delicious smell, ask about the family, or nice talking to
Let's see. I hardly ever go through all of these because I'm always just like testing to get to the point.
you.
So let's go with chat about your car.
Ooh, I got a car, but it's in rough shape. I'm looking for work. Any leads? Ask about something else, or nice talking to you.
Let's go with I got a car, but it's in rough shape.
My mom's friend had an old beater he gave me. Oh, is it your mom's friend Lee George, or is it George Lee? I can never remember. It's always like they never answer the question you're asking. It's just like, oh, I know an anecdote about this, or oh, I know this person. They did this thing instead.
Hmm. Yeah. The My favorite part about that is that like we actually had a family friend whose name was George Lee, I think, but we always mix it up between George Lee and Lee George. And I still don't know. I still don't know.
Yeah, one of the two, maybe both.
But I would go with yes.
Yes. I just got my license and I'm so excited to drive. Everyone keeps making fun of me for not being able to drive my own car. Oh, I know how you feel. I feel like Mick has been working on my car forever. Cool.
Another part about that is that like I had bought my first car when I was 16, but it had like a mechanical issue and I had to fix the glass in the windshield and I couldn't drive it for months. And
Oh
everybody at
no.
work, right? And everyone at work kept being like, you have a car, but you can't drive it. And like, that's where the whole premise of the game came in.
Oh no. Hey, what is that delicious smell? Oh, that'll be my chili. It's been ready in the crock pot there for a good hour now. I saw that on the map. Debbie has the best chili.
Exactly.
It was supposed to go down to the church, but who knows what I'll do with it now. Mr. Reardon's off on business for the week again. It's too much goodness for just little old me. What happened at the church? Or do we want to ask about the chili?
Let's go with the church.
Oh, the annual municipal agricultural chili off-a-thon was supposed to be this weekend. But just now heard that it was canceled. Heaven knows why. And me spending all week with beans soaking and everything. Ugh, that's frustrating. I'm sorry. Oh, heavens no. I love to make chili. I'll do it all day, every day, if I had more mouths to feed. The judges last year thought so, too. It's a pity. I was really looking forward to proving I'm still the chili queen of the county. Please keep talking about chili. What you'll do, if you like, I could skate the chili over for you.
Let's do what'll you do with the chili?
What'll you do? Oh, I guess I'll do what I usually do when I've gone a bit overboard. Send it down to the rest home. Those old folks love my chili. They can't get enough of it. And you know, it's nice to be nice to your neighbors. Mabel would not know anything about that. You betcha. But my car is at mixed auto, so I can't drive it down there. Not looking forward to lugging all over all this goodness. I could skate it over for you. My, that would really take a lot off my plate. Pun intended. Are you sure it's not big? It's not too big for you to carry? I can handle it. One time I lugged a whole cat carrier all the way out to the vet. This'll be easy. Well, if you're sure, it's going to the apartment building on Bridge Street at the base of Charles Street near the water. They've got a little donation bin set up out front. In fact, I bet they finished up the last one by now. They usually put the clean pot out for me on the table. Cool, I'll bring that one back. I'll just grab it for you. Cool, thank you. Jeez, she wasn't getting this thing weighs as much as I do. I better be ripped after this. Okay, be back soon.
I love the idea.
Rolling
Oh,
around
sorry,
with the
go ahead.
crock pot.
Right? I love that idea. It's like so ridiculous. And I got really into like modeling the crock pot as well.
Oh, yeah.
I put like bits of food in it as well.
No, I love the just little details on things. It just really kind of makes everything feel like one world, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I eventually want to have it so that the items you pick up, you can like view them kind of in like an isolated view.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
because there's like so many little details that I've put in place that you will never see unless we do that. So like they have to be in now.
This is not the apartment building. Do-do-do.
But yeah, I think even on the back of the crock pot, I have like a sticker that says like Debbie's property or something.
Property of Debbie.
Right? Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I'm gonna switch to good times again.
Oh yeah, you should move a bit faster
Yeah.
as well in that playlist.
Which I think is also a really fun concept that your speed also like matches the music you're listening to.
Yeah, I really wanted it to be like kind of in depth, like this is what it feels like when you listen to this music type of thing.
Yeah. And it's a really cool way just like mechanically to do that.
Yeah, I really like this mechanic that we've come up with for the music. There's like so many things I keep wanting to add to it. And it's really exciting to see it kind of growing and becoming close to what I want it to be.
I can't wait for the next demo then. Here it is, just like Debbie said. Oh, I guess she does do this a lot. Here's Debbie's other crockpot. Not looking forward to skating around with this guy. Might as well get on with it. Cold hut.
Yeah, I wanted the cooler to look like those like 80s, 90s coolers that you like.
Oh yeah, that you like.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's like the hinged top.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, those were so fun. Bringing those to the beach was so easy.
Right? Such a vibe for that.
Cool. So we're nearing the end of the stream. Is there anything else you want to say about the game or about the demo?
But I hopefully people will play it and give us their feedback. We love to hear what people are saying so we can increase the things that people like and adjust the things that people are finding clunky. So feedback 100% would be great. And otherwise just keep up with our updates and we'll be posting them monthly. So
exciting. And that'll be on Twitter?
Yeah, so we tweet out every time we do a update, but also have a mailing list that can be found on our Twitter. So it can just go straight to your inbox so you don't have to constantly try and find it on Twitter.
Stunning. All right, I need to check the map. I got lost. Oh, or did I? Oops. Nope, she was just a little bit further away than I thought. You're back. Wonderful. Hope it wasn't too much trouble. I can't feel my fingers. I want to die. I regret ever waking up this morning. There was no problem. Oh, look at this. So nice of them to give a good scrub for me. I have to cook them up something nice as a thank you. Debbie steps into the house with the empty crock pot. When she returns, she's carrying a stack of Tupperware containers. This $10 is for you. Oh, thank you, Debbie. And of course, you must take some chili home to try. I put some aside for you. I hope you don't mind. Oh, sounds awesome. We can have it for dinner tonight. Thank God it's a Tupperware and not another crock pot. Ooh, I also got you a little something extra for your trouble. Here's some brownies. Now you must share with your family, you hear? Your mom's always wanted to try my recipe. Oh, thanks, I can't wait to try them. And wait, let me just grab you some of that taffy I whipped up. It's to die for, you'll see. I should really be taking off, or thanks, Debbie?
Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, Debbie. That's so nice. Oh, and I've got some extra sandwiches as well. Just give me a second, I'll wrap those up for you to go. Sounds great.
Sounds great.
I've got some chicken noodle soup from last week in the freezer. I'll bet you'll love that. I'm sorry. I can't carry anymore. Oh dear, well that's okay. You enjoy that chili and let me know if you need any more. I've got my crock pot back now and plenty of beans for a new batch. Safe skating. I won't keep you then. Ah, $428.93. That's everything I need to get my car fixed. I can't wait to rip around town. And I'm just going to skate around a little longer. That's so fun. That is so just your neighbor who loves cooking.
Yes, it's kind of reminiscent of this person on my paper route who would always offer me food. And I thought it was like kind of sketchy at first, but then I was like, okay, he seems nice. And he had like the best granola bars. He'd like give you an apple. It was great. You'd be like midday snack. It was great.
That's so sweet.
All right. Yeah, it was so nice.
My family is Italian. So that's just basically anytime I visit my relatives, like, oh, do you want these 9 things to take with you? It's like, I just came to drop off the 9 other Tupperwares you gave me, but sure, I guess so.
Amazing. That sounds so convenient. You don't have to cook. Like, that's so nice.
Yeah. Like, my mom has never cooked a day in her life. we just visit.
Exactly. I'm coming with you next time because I don't
Please
want to
do.
cook either.
Get research for characters with everyone in my town.
Exactly. Amazing.
I also really like this pink house with the matching pink car.
Yes, I got a little carried away with the pinkness, but I think it works as like a good landmark as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, the house on your left right there, the brick one,
Oh, the breakfast.
that one. Yeah, that one. That's actually one of the houses that I lived in. So I was really happy to like put it
Oh, wow.
in, and it looks like really accurate. It's like you'd have to go on Google and check, but it looks really accurate to when we lived there.
You would have to do some major snooping, but it's super
Yeah,
accurate.
basically. I went on Google Maps for like hours to make this accurate.
I love that. Very deep, in-depth research.
Exactly. I think if you run into those bins, that also gives you a little thought as well.
Will these people ever bring their bins in? That's also so real.
Yeah, I wanted to make it so like their neighbor is mad at them for always leaving them out there. Like there's an HOA who's like, "How dare you leave these out?"
How dare you? Gosh, what if it gets windy and then they fly onto my lawn?
Exactly. Then you get blamed. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole process. The politics of living in a
Exactly.
small neighborhood.
Exactly. But yeah, I guess another thing to mention is like going forward, we are working on adding in like even more like narrative and like story into the game, and sort of building up that like small town vibe of like everybody kind of knows each other and there's always some sort of connection between these five people.
Oh yeah,
Um, and yeah, and like really discovering sort of like who Naomi is within that world.
that's so exciting. I can't wait. Uh, because
Me
even
too.
like just right now, it's so clear that these people know each other, and just like talking about like, oh, the church chili off-a-thon, like that's so small town. Like watching,
Right.
like sipping your martini while watching like the people from the neighborhood you don't like struggle. It's very intertwined.
Exactly. Yeah. I think probably won't get to it today, but I think if you go back and talk to, I think it's Sharon, she has like drama about the Chili Alphathon being canceled as well.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you can kind of like piece together that story by talking to multiple people, which is very
Right.
on point, very on vibe for that.
Oh yeah, that's just how you get information in a small town.
Exactly.
And with that, we've come to the end of the stream. Is there anything you'd like to say? Any last remarks?
Thank you for playing it. And
Of course.
we're on all social media as Roller Girl Game and join our mailing list so you can get our updates.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much to everyone who tuned in. Check out all of our links to make sure that you can also play test Roller Girl. It's so much fun, and I highly recommend it. And yeah, that's that on that. Bye, Bye everyone.